Hello everybody, welcome to StraightA, Dawson here, and here we are with NFL Week 15 parlays. And I know this series has been inconsistent basically with all the other series I want to do and all the quizzes. I haven't really wanted to keep on consistently betting and all that good stuff, but we're back with Week 15 because I was like, you know what, I got some money in my account, I'm gonna put it down and win some more for myself. So I got 4 parlays I'm gonna show y'all here today, and I may do this again. I don't know, I do miss it a little bit, but I'm not a official bettor. I do not condone any betting that you cannot do. Please bet responsibly, and you know I got the means to do it, and I'm going to do it this week. I put $1 each, so they each have varying win rates and all that good stuff, but from $13,000 down to $100. So I'm kind of excited. I like doing this stuff. Again, gets me invested in a different kind of way for football, especially fantasy football, kind of ramping down a little bit. It's kind of easier to set my lineup nowadays, so I'm not really as worried. But either way, we'll roll right into it with today's video of the parlays. Again, I'm not a professional bettor. This is not things I'm condoning. These are just things I kind of went on here. I said, you know what? I want revenge on the betting line. The betting line's winning in our predictions videos, and I want revenge. I want to win some money from the betting lines that I'm seeing here today. And so I put down 4 different bets just based on instinct. First one I did was just the overall throughout various games. The first one's the same game parlay with the Bills at the Cowboys, which I think will be game of the week. Cowboys at Bills, I should clarify. For this one, Josh Allen over the rushing yards. I think he's going to be on the ground a lot more with a lot of the rushing power of the Dallas Cowboys. Meanwhile, I think James Cook will be utilized in the rushing game as well. I think he'll get over 50.5. I think it's a close line just because I could see the Cowboys getting off ahead. But I think the Bills are good at keeping the game close and are good at utilizing the rushing game a little bit. So it's a little bit of a rush-heavy game, especially against a good Cowboys defense. But I just think that the Bills are going to be in control until they kind of lose out on it near the end. Meanwhile, Gabe Davis is not relevant by any game, so I like the under 33.5 yards. It gives him a good reception or two, but then pretty much under from there. Brandon Cooks, I think he's been cooking a little bit recently, but Jake Ferguson's still getting a lot of targets. CeeDee Lamb still focused point of the offense. Could be a Brandon Cooks game, but 39.5 yards felt pretty good to take the under there. James Cook, under 3.5 total receptions, with him being so much in the what's called the rushing game. I don't think he'll be as much in the receiving game. So 3.5 receptions. Give him a throw or two, and he'll be fine. Tony Pollard also under 3.5 receptions. He doesn't really get receptions at all. He tends not. I think he got like 2 in the last couple games each, so whatever. To make this bet a little bit more, I did have to say a first touchdown score, and I would love for CeeDee Lamb to get a touchdown score, but I think it's a Jake Ferguson type game. I think he's going to get the nice little end zone push. I think the Bills are good at covering longer range. Jake Ferguson gets more shorter range touchdowns. So I think I have the Cowboys kind of getting off ahead first, Bills catching up, and then Cowboys kind of finishing her off and kind of winning the game from there. It's going to be a higher scoring game, but we'll see. And I do have this being over 24.5 half total. I do think maybe it'll slow down a little bit in the second half, but I think both these teams are very explosive on offense, so I think that's how it'll kind of turn out. And of course, Dak Prescott getting over 1.5 passing touchdowns is pretty accurate. I'm nervous about taking that line for Josh Allen purely because of his rushing power, but this whole bet leads up to $1 for $477.09. So we'll see if this hits. I'm a little bit nervous in this game because, again, it's kind of buying into the Bills' rushing attack, but there's a lot of lines on here that are actually really good in terms of, like, I don't know which one I'd pick, so I kind of just went with the unders on some of these guys, and I kind of didn't touch the Cowboys a whole lot just because I have an investment in CeeDee Lamb, so I decided not to go down that route. Either way, next one is the same. Well, no, this is not a same game parlay. It's a same game parlay for these two. This is my overall kind of various different lines. I like Tommy DeVito getting a passing touchdown, or at least one. I think it's pretty safe against New Orleans Saints. I know they have a good secondary, but I think Tommy DeVito is very capable of getting 1 passing touchdown throughout the whole game. Saquon over 17.5 receiving yards. When they have a good secondary, they're going to be giving to Saquon more, and they'll probably utilize him as a receiving back too in the shorter game. And I think Tommy DeVito likes that shorter game a little bit too. Nick Mullins under 250.5 passing yards. Very aggressive line. I know he put up decent numbers, but I don't know, 250.5 against Cincinnati Bengals is going to be a very, very pass-heavy game for him. Zach Moss, under 73.5 rushing yards. I don't think Zach Moss is that amazing, especially against a good Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I know they've been suffering a little bit, but I think they do tend to have lower end score games. So giving Zach Moss the under here seems appropriate, especially 73.5 seems a little aggressive. Amari Cooper with over 4.5 total receptions. When he plays, he's a target, so I maybe not feel good on his yards. I think his yards yards with like 60 or 70 plus. He could have a 50 or 60 game. I don't know if I feel good about that higher 60, lower 70 game. So we'll see, but I think him getting 4.5 or at least receptions is very appropriate. Zeke, I think against the Kansas City Chiefs is going to get very, very demolished. I think he's been looking good. He's close to that line already last couple of games. I think he's been utilizing the receiving game, but against the Kansas City Chiefs defense, I don't see him getting much utilization there. So I'm not sold on that one. Kyren Williams over 23.5 yards. This is something I should have looked up, but I just kind of went on instinct here. I feel like he's had a lot more receiving yards than that before, especially against the Washington Commanders, who I think have a decent defensive line and an okay secondary. I think Kyren Williams could get a lot of looks for receiving yards, and plus he's so explosive. All he needs is one really good play, and he'll get the yards by himself in one reception. So I feel good about that, especially with the Rams pass heavy. I think Kyren Williams is also very good on the ground, but I think they like utilizing him in the air too. Then you got George Kittle, 45.5 against Cardinals. I know it's divisional rivals, so it makes me a little bit more nervous. But I think if he gets one reception, it's probably going to break my under. But I don't think I shouldn't say that. I should say that if he has one good reception, because he sometimes either goes for 5 yards or for 45 yards. And that's going to be kind of the risk here. I think the Cardinals are going to be a weak enough team for them to not have to utilize George Kittle in that way. Granted, I mean, the defensive line of the Cardinals is so bad that maybe they won't need George Kittle blocking. I don't know. It's a little bit of a risk, but I don't think this is a George Kittle game at all. I think this is just a CMC, Elijah Mitchell type of run game. Get through, have Debo and Brandon Ayuk get a touchdown each, and then feel pretty good. Maybe Brock Purdy run one in. That's how I kind of feel. Maybe George Kittle even catches one for the end zone, but I don't feel like he's going to get a whole lot of yards against the Cardinals here. And that'll pay out for about $100. That's kind of my lower end ones. Then we got the anytime touchdown parlay. So this is just all the touchdowns I think are going to happen. 8 touchdowns. Kind of aggressive, but you know what? We like to see it. Jamar Chase, anytime touchdown. I think he's the focus point of that offense in terms of the receiving game. And the Vikings defense is not great, so I think Jamar Chase is going to eat a little bit. Courtland Sutton is a pretty safe bet no matter what, especially against a poorer Detroit Lions secondary. I think Russell Wilson can get a touchdown to him, and he's about the only person that does eat on that offense anyway. Bijan getting a touchdown score I think is pretty safe against the defensive line of the Carolina Panthers. Dalton Schultz coming back against Tennessee Titans. A little bit riskier, I think, with the mix of no CJ Stroud right now. It could be very risky to put Dalton Schultz, but I think with a new quarterback going in there, with Davis Mills will probably go for safer passes again for people that are not going to go down deep. So I feel like he's going to be able to get a touchdown or two against a Tennessee Titans, which is a divisional play. Tennessee Titans do keep it a little bit closer. So the pass-heavy game it'll need to be pass-heavy for the Texans to get a touchdown, I think. Rashee Rice, I think, is just it feels like he's about time to get another touchdown. I don't think he's gotten a touchdown in a couple weeks. He's gotten a lot of receptions, a lot of yards, but not a touchdown against a New England Patriots defense, which is more shorter end play. I think Rashee Rice is a more deeper time player. Travis Kelce's probably going to eat a lot too, because I think New England does pretty poor against the tight ends. I think it's either to do really good or really bad. I can't remember which. But either way, Deontay Foreman coming back, I think he's going to be a very big part of this offense for the Bears. And I think he's probably going to get a receiving touchdown, to be honest with you, against the Cleveland Browns, because I think it's going to be a lot tougher for the Bears to really punch through the D-line of the Browns. But I think he's going to get the receiving touchdown. Then you got Stephon Diggs, feels like a safe bet with a high-scoring game to give him a touchdown, and A.J. Brown. Against the Seattle Seahawks, who are prone to put up numbers, I think A.J. Brown's going to eat a little bit. Good secondary overall, but A.J. Brown's just a different kind of player. I think he's going to get a touchdown. That'll pay out about $1,900. And then finally, we have all my 15-leg parlay for every game. This was $1 for $13,000. This one I'm very nervous about because there's a lot of lines I don't love. I think I went 5-5-5, so 5 spread, 5 money line, and 5 over/under. We'll see. I love the spread for the Bengals, -3. Great. I really like that one. Under 42.5 for Pittsburgh Steelers and the Colts. I don't see this being high scoring at all. I don't see the Colts eating that much, and I don't see the Steelers doing too much either. I could see like maybe a 21-17 type game. I can't see much more than that at all. So I'm going to go for under 42.5, under 47.5 for Denver Broncos and Detroit Lions. It feels like every time the Detroit Lions play, they get a really high over/under, and the Denver Broncos kind of tend to go in the opposite direction. I think Denver's going to have a good defense and keep the Lions down a little bit, maybe 21, and then the Broncos probably going to end up at 17 as well, or 14 with a oh, there we go. You've wagered $4 in the last 30 minutes. Got it. Thank you. Appreciate it. As you see, this is the bets I just made. I think the Denver Broncos are very good at keeping the score lower, so I like the under here at 47.5. It's a little risky just because the Denver Broncos are capable of putting up points a little bit, especially against weaker defenses. But I like the Lions, or I like the Lions, I like the Broncos defense against the Lions offense a little bit here. So we'll see. I think I like the line, but it could be a little bit on the riskier side. Tampa Bay winning against Green Bay. I think I feel pretty good about that with Green Bay in a slump right now. And then the New York Giants spread. I think the Giants have a real chance of winning this game, and it could not be close. At 5.5 feels a really aggressive spread, but I like the spread for the Giants because either they're going to get really close to winning or just eke them out, and I like the chances of either one of those happening. The spread for the Tennessee Titans -3.5. I think the Texans are going to eat a little bit, but I think then the Titans are going to win by easy touchdown type deal. Over 37 points for the Jets and Miami Dolphins. I think the secondary for the Jets are really good, but I think Miami is also really good. So the reason why over feels really good instead of just like picking a team to win or a spread, because Miami's going to put up a touchdown or two just based on the players they have. I think Jalen Waddle, if Tyreek Hill's not going to play, is going to get a touchdown. I think the run game's going to get a touchdown. That's 14 points right there. And then you got the Jets, who I think Zach Wilson is either going to eat or Tua's going to eat. And so one of those players is going to eat a lot. And, of course, I see some field goals happening too. So I think 37 points for a Zach Wilson that's very capable of putting up points, and a Breece Hall who's very capable of going through that Miami defense. And then you got the Miami Dolphins, who, if Tyreek plays, is probably going to put up 37 by himself. No, I'm just kidding. But it's pretty nice if Tyreek is playing. Cleveland money line. I think the Browns are easily winning this. There's not many upsets I took this week that I liked, so Browns are just kind of a low-end favorite. Over 37 points for Kansas City and New England. That one's a riskier one, but I like Kansas City kind of giving a not a comeback game, but a revenge game. Not against anybody, but just revenge game for themselves. I think they're angry, and I think they want to eat a little bit. So the only thing that makes me nervous is the run game from the Chiefs is going to be hurting without Isaiah Pacheco. So 37 points may be harder, but they may be pulling it for the most part on themselves because I don't think New England's going to be scoring that much. They had a revival game against the Steelers, but otherwise it's not going to be good for them, I don't think. Atlanta money line, I think it's pretty easy. Carolina still hasn't won. If Carolina is going to win, it's going to be a divisional game. I get it, but Falcons are still easily a favorite here. So especially with how Bryce Young has been playing, I like it here. Under 50.5 points for Commanders Rams. I think the Rams put up less points than they do, and the Commanders put up almost no points. I think it's like a 45 type game. If this line was 45.5, I would not take it either way because it's very close for me. But 50.5 feels aggressive. I think Matthew Stafford still gets in that 31-point range, and the Commanders kind of eke out maybe a 14. I don't know, that's kind of like the way I'm looking at it. Rams could have a chiller game. The Commanders could have a slight revival. That's why there's a lot of room for maneuver there. But I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. San Francisco -12.5. It's hard to take lines with the 49ers because I could easily just say they're going to win because they probably are going to win. But the over/under wasn't any better. So I decided to go with the line for the 49ers. They tend to beat I don't want to say bad teams, but more poor teams by a decent margin. So I'm going to say 49ers -12.5 is pretty nice. Cowboys money line. It's one of the upsets I take this week. I do think Dallas Cowboys, despite all my Bills love for the rushing game, is probably going to end up winning this just because I think the Cowboys, I know the people described it as the fat man being very content and happy right now while the Bills are scraping and fighting. I don't think that the Cowboys roll like that. I think the Cowboys do drop random games to bad teams. The Bills aren't a bad team. I think they're taking this team very seriously, especially after the Bills beat the Chiefs. And I think the Bills were kind of fraudulent in that game a little bit. Not totally. I think they deserved the win, but it was not the cleanest win in the world. So I think I like the Dallas Cowboys winning here still. I like the defense and how it's looking. I like the offense is still very red hot. And I know the Bills are one of the teams that could stop that, but I don't see it happening. The Ravens at -3 against Jags. I feel it feels pretty good with Trevor kind of cooling down a little bit. Jags defense not looking amazing. It's just not. The Ravens have a lot of momentum right now for themselves, and they need to keep it. And I think by scoring more than 3 points against, or 3 spread-wise against the Jags is kind of needed for them to keep that momentum. Jags really need this win. They really, really do. I don't see them happening. I don't see it happening at all. Then you get the Philadelphia Eagles money line. Eagles at Seahawks. Easy bet. Eagles have been kind of shit on recently, and I think they need a redemption game. It's the easy redemption game. Simple to the point. This is the parlays for Week 15. Oh, look at that. Pretty much right on time, too. Those are my parlays for the week. If you enjoy this series, please let me know down in the comments. Get a lot of views, help me kind of indicate what kind of series I should do more consistently. This week, again, it's kind of our transition back into getting a lot of videos recorded, so we don't have a whole lot of time to edit them if we're recording them a lot. So hopefully we get some quiz videos next week, along with NFL Imperialism coming out in the next 2 weeks or so. We're looking forward to that. But hope you enjoyed this video. Stick tuned tomorrow for another not new video type, but a video type that y'all can enjoy as well for Saturday's games. Anyway, StraightA Dawson, out.